Years ago, a new hockey team was born, the New York Islanders. They started out as an expansion team in the National Hockey League. A team. In the 8 years, a man named Bill Torrey restructured the team. He drafted for better players, like Dennis Potvin, Bobby Nystrom, Brian Trottier, and Mike Boston, and brought in Al Arbor as coach. That's when everything started to click, and the Islanders started to win. They began beating teams like the Boston Bruins, the Canadiens. It seemed the Islanders had learned a lot about something we at Chemical Bank called chemistry. At Chemisters, they'd won them the most cup, the Stanley Cup. Chemical 80 Stanley Cup winners, the New York Islanders. It seems the chemistry's just right.
Benning comes back to his own blue line and shoots it up ice for Pinelli. Pinelli comes in over the blue line on the off wing. Comes in front, the shot, the nice, and scores! Yes! The Islanders win the Stanley Cup! The Islanders win the Stanley Cup on the overtime goal by Bobby Nystrom. Islanders win the Stanley Cup. Bobby Nystrom with a goal from John Pinelli. And the Islanders have won the Stanley Cup. What a finish! What a finish to a hockey season! The Islanders have taken 7 years, 352 days, 17 hours, and 33 minutes, but they have finally won the Stanley Cup on the sudden death overtime goal, scored by Bobby Nystrom at 7-11.
This is the story of a hockey team. A team which in just 8 short years managed to reach out and grab what professional hockey teams have been battling for the last 87 years, the Stanley Cup. The team, of course, is the New York Islanders.
Everybody stuck to what they thought was their only goal, and their only goal was to win the Stanley Cup, and we did it. Winning the Stanley Cup is a culmination of all the work, of all the pains, and all of the bad days, and all of those summers where you mourn for months, 2 months after the hockey season. And for all of us, it's the first time winning the Stanley Cup. It's also the first time in many of our lives that we finished a hockey season and not had to be upset by a loss or a defeat in a playoff situation. Winning the Cup is the dream of every Canadian boy who's played, and now that there's Americans in the league, they have the same dream when they play hockey. It's the greatest prize in the game, and a game that we love and work and dedicate our lives to. There's no other way I can put it other than the fact that it's the greatest prize to me in my lifetime.
It really doesn't seem that long ago, October 7th, 1972, when the Islanders first stepped onto the ice at the Nassau Coliseum to compete in the National Hockey League. Life for an expansion team in any sport is rough in the beginning, and the Islanders were no exception, as they posted a record of 12 wins, 60 losses, and 8 ties. However, unlike many other expansion teams, the Islanders improved with each passing season. In their 8-year existence, the Islanders have had only one general manager, Bill Torrey, and he now recalls those early days.
The day I was hired, which I guess was around February 10th or 11th, 1972, Mr. Bowe said to me that he realized that we were starting from scratch, but that I wouldn't have to be concerned about, interference, or that what I had given him as a rough outline as a way to proceed was what he had accepted, and that's what the partners were agreeable to doing, and that was basically not look for a year or two, but to look 3, 5, maybe 6 years down the road and see what might be there. And so what I did was practically ignore totally the expansion draft, other than just one that was fairly obvious, and I spent a lot of time looking at the draft for the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, which would be obviously the nucleus from which this team would be built, and it has been built.
One of the first players to don an Islander uniform, and for years he was known as Mr. Islander, was Ed Westfall. He came over from the Stanley Cup champion Boston Bruins in the 1972 expansion draft, and immediately added that touch of class that every team needs when it starts out.
And my initial reaction to leaving the Boston Bruins, I think, is one that is understandable. I was bitterly disappointed after winning the Stanley Cup for the second time in 3 seasons. I had felt for the first time really in my career that I had some security. As it turned out, it was false. And upon talking with the people with the New York Islanders, Mr. Bill Torrey, I had been welcomed, and thought that it was only fair to what I had put in for 11 years in Boston to try and start a new career at something that I did know, and that was hockey. So I had accepted the offer from Mr. Torrey to come to the New York Islanders and see if somehow we couldn't gain some credibility to a brand new team starting out.
Goaltender Billy Smith is the only remaining Islander from the 1972 expansion draft. He has known both the good and the bad times, as he now recalls.
Well, first of all, I started out with the Los Angeles Kings, and then in 1972, I was left open on the draft, and the New York Islanders picked me up, which I thought at the time was a very big opportunity for me to play. The first 2-3 years with the New York Islanders, we didn't really have too much talent, and we suffered along through those years, even though I found it very exciting. But then, fortunately, we got guys like Dennis Potvin and Brian Truddy, Mike Bossy, and the team started picking up. In 1979, in the playoffs, we were beat out by the New York Rangers, which was a very upsetting year for the New York Islanders, being beat out by the New York Rangers. Then we moved on to 1980, where we started out very badly. We didn't have much chance of doing anything until we made several good trades. We got Kenny Morrow, then we got Gordy Lane, and then the biggest trade of all, we got Butchie Goring. And we were very fortunate to move right along in the playoffs. We had several great breaks and some great opportunities, and we ended up winning the Stanley Cup, which was probably the highlight of everybody's NHL career.
Other members of that first Islander team who helped contribute to the winning of the Stanley Cup in 1980 were Lorne Henning, Gary Howitt, and Bob Nystrom. They were all Islander draft choices that first year. In their second season, the Islanders again came up winners at the amateur draft when they selected Dennis Potvin.
Summer 1973, I was drafted by the Islanders, and at that time I was really happy to have been drafted number 1 in the country, and that was a goal that I'd been going through, that I had in my mind throughout of junior hockey. And coming with the Islander team, knowing that it had a poor record the season before, but also knowing that there was going to be a coaching change, and my junior coach had told me that Al Arbour would take us under his wing and show us how to play hockey, and especially help me to play defense in the National Hockey League. And that's exactly what happened. And through those early years, we weren't a championship team or anything, but what happened is that the players grew, and the players grew in confidence and talent, and the team grew together. And I think that that's the best ingredient that ever came out of those first years, the patience and the work put in to this hockey club by the management, by Al Arbour especially.
On June 10th, 1973, the New York Islanders hired Al Arbour as coach. He has been at the helm ever since. In 12 seasons as an NHL player and 19 seasons in professional hockey, Arbour has been known as one of the more steady defensemen. In their first season, the Islanders allowed 347 goals. In Arbour's first season behind the Islander bench, that figure dropped dramatically to 247. Al Arbour recalls the transformation the Islanders have made from cellar dwellers to the occupants of the executive suite.
Well, I recall when I first joined the club and at the first training camp, after looking at all the players that were there trying out, I thought that it was going to be a long time till we ever could get to the Stanley Cup. So we decided to go with kids, and but after a couple of months, some of the players that we had certainly showed a lot of encouragement for me. Players like Howitt, Nystrom, Dave Lewis, Andre St. Laurent. These players were just continually working in the afternoon and in the morning, and never giving up, and it really caught on with the club. And at that time, I felt that we could surprise a few people in a short few years.
In their third year, the Islanders made a dramatic turnaround, posting a record of 33 wins, 25 losses, 22 ties, and making the playoffs for the first time. The Islanders' first trip to the postseason play is an interesting page in their history. In the quarterfinal round, they found themselves down 3-0 against Pittsburgh, but they roared back to win the next 4 games and the series. And all Islander fans will remember Chico Resch kissing the goalpost. It was only the second time in NHL history a team came from behind 3-0 to win a playoff 7-game series. In the semifinal round, they found themselves in the same situation against Philadelphia this time. Again, they came back, winning 3 straight before losing the 7th game. The Islanders' captain of that team, Ed Westfall, recalls those 2 incredible series.
1975 was the really birth of recognition for the New York Islanders after scraping through the season. We had not made the playoffs until that year, and it was right down to the last of the regular season games when we made the playoffs. We played the New York Rangers, our crosstown rivals, as they are sometimes called, in the first round, a 2-out-of-3 series. Lost the first game in Madison Square Gardens, won back here in Long Island, and then won an overtime game in Madison Square Garden to defeat and eliminate the New York Rangers, something that no one ever thought would happen. We were kind of a laughing stock when we went into that series. Going from there, we went into the series with Pittsburgh. We lost, unfortunately, the first 3 games and faced elimination, but lo and behold, I'll leave it to the Islanders of 1975. They came storming back and won 4 straight games, being only the second team in the NHL history ever to do that. And upon doing that, we had to then face the very talented and very powerful Philadelphia Flyers. And this was in the semifinals. We lost the first 3 games to Philadelphia, much like we did to Pittsburgh, and then came storming back to win 3 straight. And then in the 7th game in Philadelphia, they eliminated the New York Islanders in a game that we all remember, the score being 4-2. And that was really the coming to life of the New York Islanders franchise. And they had then started on the road that, of course, has taken them to the heights that they have gained today.
In their 4th year, the Islanders became an offensive powerhouse when, for the first time, they exceeded 40 wins and 100 points. A new face in the lineup that season was Brian Trottier, and he set an NHL record of 95 points by a rookie.
In 1975, my rookie season with the Islanders, I was fortunate enough to get 32 goals, 63 assists, and set a record of 95 points. And it still holds as a record in the NHL.
Trottier would be joined 2 years later by another high-scoring rookie, Mike Bossy. In his first season, Bossy would set an NHL record of 53 goals by a rookie. His second season was even more incredible, as he scored 69 goals. Then this season, even though hampered by injuries, Bossy again exceeded the 50-goal plateau, scoring 51. Between Bossy and Trottier, the Islanders had the most awesome scoring combination in the National Hockey League.
Playing with Brian is you know, it's been a lot of fun for me. I didn't know who I was going to play with when I first came to the Islanders. I didn't know who Brian Trottier was when I came here. I had heard about him, but I didn't know who Brian was, the person, and who Brian was, the hockey player. It didn't take me long to find out that Brian was one heck of a hockey player, one heck of a centerman, and it seemed that as soon as we started playing with each other, that things started working well for myself and for him. After my first year, I finished my rookie season with over 50 goals, and Brian, got over 120 points, and I think that was a first for him too. So, it was a lot of fun for both of us, and Brian's my best friend I have on the team. So, and I'm not shy to say it either. We get along extremely well.
The 1978-79 season was truly a great one in the Islanders' history, as they led the National Hockey League in overall points. However, it all came undone in the playoffs when they were upset by the Rangers. Then came the 1979-80 season. The Islanders dipped to 91 points, 5th best in the league. A pretty good year ordinarily, but not when compared to no bitter upsets. This time, the chemistry is right. It belongs to the Islanders. April 8th against the Los Angeles Kings. The Islanders definitely are a 2-goalie team. Between Billy Smith and Chico Resch, they have as formidable goaltending as there is in the NHL. Coach Al Arbour felt that Billy Smith had the hot hand, so Smitty would start the first game against LA. It turned out to be a wise decision, for Smith would be sensational throughout the 1980 playoffs. In Game 1 of the series, the Islanders blew the Kings right out of the Nassau Coliseum. With an Game 2, Los Angeles came back to even the series at a game apiece. So now it was on to Los Angeles for Games 3 and 4. In Game 3, the Islanders were behind 3-1, battled back to tie it up and send it into overtime. Olympian Ken Morrow then provided the dramatics.
Tied at 3-all. This is sudden death overtime. Ball controlled by the Kings, but it went right on net. Lassard made the save behind the net for
Lewis, he tries to clear, not out. Lane got a drive away from the left point, saved by Lassard. Rebound on the corner, Saint Laurent can't get it out. It's kept in by Howard. Centering pass, top of the slot to Morrow, the drive. Goal! Islanders win! All right! On the drive by Kenny Morrow, and the Islanders have won the overtime game 4-3.
The Los Angeles Kings were a high-scoring offensive machine, and the Islanders knew they would have to play a well-disciplined defensive game to beat them. In Game 4, they did just that, shutting out the Kings 6-0 to win the series 3-1.
Well, the draw will be in the Islanders' zone. 4 seconds to go in the third period. Islanders with a 6-0 lead. Carlson on the draw with Bourne. They tie each other up, poke towards the net. It's Karam's wide. Dennis has the puck, and a buzzer sounds, and the game is over. The Islanders have eliminated the Los Angeles Kings 3-1 on the shutout turned in by Billy Smith. And the last time he had a shutout was last year, I believe, in the playoffs against Chicago. But what a victory here tonight for the Islanders.
The Islanders' next opponent in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs will be a different kind of challenge, a very physical team, the Boston Bruins. In the opener at the Boston Garden on April 16th, the overtime.
Here's Gillies coming in on the left wing, comes right in front, shot, score! All right, scores, and the Islanders win in overtime. And the bench closed to congratulate him. Clark Gillies scoring at 1 minute 2 seconds of overtime, and the Islanders win it 2-1.
In Game 2, it got even tougher, as evidenced by a bench-clearing brawl at the close of period number 1. But then both teams settled down to play steady hockey. In regulation time, the score was tied at 4-all, when Terry O'Reilly, in the overtime, made a bad clearing pass onto the stick of Bob Bourne.
Here's a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Bourne down the right side. Stops at the point. The drive. High and wide. And Cheever's got a piece of it. The rebound comes to the right side of the net, and Park grabs it there. Comes up on the left wing for Wensick. He lets it go. Then he kept it in. Deflected it right on goal to the left side of Cheevers and let it go wide of the net. O'Reilly tries to clear, but not out. Bourne top of the front drive. Hooray! Bobby Bourne! Hooray! Win! Hooray, Bob! Fantastic! Once again, an interception inside the Boston Bruins blue line. Bobby Bourne, who had just directed a couple of shots. There was Jerry Cheevers, who had made the initial save, but this time he made no mistake. He used the Bruins defense as some kind of a screen, and Jerry Cheevers didn't really have much of a chance. He was beat on the high side, on the stick side. What a fantastic victory. I don't believe this, Bob. It's fantastic. I'm so happy for the guys. What an effort.
Things looked good for the Islanders. It appeared the Bruins were finished when the Islanders beat Boston in Game 3 by a score of 5-3 at the Nassau Coliseum. But the Bruins battled back to win Game 4 in overtime. So it was back to Boston for Game 5. The Bruins started the scoring early and led 2-0 in the first 3.5 minutes of that hockey game. But the Islanders battled back on goals by Stephen Pearson, Dwayne Sutter, Clark Gillies, and Dennis Potvin to clinch the victory 4-2 and the quarterfinal series over Boston.
Ahead to Goring. Goring in over the blue line. Right side lead to Sutter. Comes in front. The shot. Score! Beautiful. Sutter finally got a goal that he was looking for. Beautiful effort. This is so reassuring for me. It makes me feel really good. We had talked about Dwayne Sutter a little earlier on, and he was wondering when he was going to get a goal, if ever, and he got a big one. Let me tell you. The score is 2-2. Gillies at the left point. Backhands it in over the goal line. Sutter after it, but Cheevers behind the net. Takes Sutter out of the play, and Park clears but not out. Gillies top of the spot. The drive. Score! Gillies puts the Islanders ahead. 3-2. 5:40 to play in the third period. Islanders lead it by 1. Here's a steal by Bourne. Marcotte got it back. Fossey has in the top of the spot to Dennis. Takes, shoots, score! Dennis Potvin finally got it, and the Islanders lead it 4-2. 10 seconds to go in the third period. Park threw it in front again. Morrow knocked that down. Park has centering pass in front. The court can't get it. O'Reilly fires. Deflected in front, and Morrow cleared it out. All right, and that's it. All right, it's over. The Islanders have won it. All right, 4-2. What a fantastic way to win a series, Bob. We're down 2-0 in the first 4 or 5 minutes of this hockey game, and these guys don't know when to quit. They just kept coming and coming, and that's exactly what they did, and they came back. A tremendous comeback for the New York Islanders, who won this series 4-1.
The Islanders were flying now, flying right into the swift-skating Buffalo Sabres. In the first game of this semifinal playoff, the Islanders kept astounding as Billy Smith sparkled in goal.
Ramsey has there, trying to come in front with the puck. He goes to the right side of the net, out the left point to Schoenfeld. The drive, deflected just wide as Gare had a piece of it, but so did Billy Smith. And McKechnie holds onto the puck, centering pass. Here's the drive, saved by Smitty, off Van Boxmeer. The Sabres dig it free, left point to Schoenfeld. And it's knocked off his stick by Bobby Bourne, going back the other way. Bourne comes in, one on nobody, comes in front, the shot, score! Beautiful! Bourne on a short-handed goal to tie up the game. Out to the right face-off circle, then a right point, Van Boxmeer drive, saved by Smitty. And and he held on. It got behind him, but he managed to hold on to it at the last second as the penalty is over, and both teams come back to full strength. Icing being waved off as Height goes back to pick it up. Comes right in front of the net. Clearing pass. Stolen by Bossy in front of the shot. Score! Mike Bossy with a great steal, and he drilled it. The Islanders lead it 2-1. Face-off in the Sabre zone at the top of the left face-off circle is controlled by the Islanders. Right point drive. Pearson just went wide of the net. Rebound Tonelli in front shot. He scored! John Tonelli got the rebound off the backboards and drilled it. The Islanders lead it 3-1. Loose puck in the Islanders zone. Mongram behind the net for Perot. Knocked off his stick. He got it back to the left side of the net. Out to the left point to Chantal. The drive. Saved by Smitty. Rebound on the slot. Taken by Merrick, and he cleared the zone. Left wing lead to Rick Martin. Into the top of the slot. Comes in front. Fake shoot. Save Smitty. Now Van Boxmeer finds an opening. Up on the right wing for Perot. Perot comes to the Islander blue line. At the right point. Now threw it along the boards for Sealing in the right corner. Out to the top of the slot. A shot by Sealing. Knocked down and a save by Smitty on a deflection by Martin. And the Islanders clear the zone. Tonelli crosses the red line. Sends in Sutter on the left wing. Down the left wing he goes to the goal line. In front of Tonelli. Shot. All right! John Tonelli on a great centering pass by Dwayne Sutter, and the Islanders lead it 4-1.
The second game of the series went to double overtime.
Scoring is out for the draw against Savard outside the Islander blue line. Islanders controls. Dennis has in his own zone. Comes right side to Larmer. Pokes it out the center ice to Nystrom. Nystrom down the right wing. Dumps it in over the goal line. Survey stops behind the net. Then Van Boxmeer tried to clear it away. Goring harassed him, so the Sabres have to get some help. Savard tried to clear, but not out. Kept in by Larmer. Now Savard clears it, but not out. Gillies with a drive. Just went wide. Rebound to the left corner. Survey clears it over there. Now it's taken by Rick Martin. Here's another steal. Gillies top of the slot drive. Broken up by Van Boxmeer. Rebound to Nystrom. Try to center it. Down to the slot. And Larmer the drive. Rebound. Nystrom scored. And the Islanders win. Bobby Nystrom after the Larmer drive that was saved by Sauvé. Nystrom jumped on the loose puck and knocked it home. And the Islanders win it in double overtime, 2-1.
The Islanders now led the series 2-0. They had played 7 road games in the playoffs and won them all. However, on their home ice, they were just 2-2. The Islanders straightened out that situation with a 7-4 win and a rather commanding 3-0 lead in the series.
Perot racing down into the Islanders zone. A long shot off Morrow. Sticking to the left corner. Picked up by Martin. Martin pass to McClanahan. Tipped away by Trottier. Trottier to the right wing for Bossy. Bossy scores into the Buffalo zone. He shoots. He scores! Bossy's 5th playoff goal from Brian Trottier at 5-14. 1-0 Islanders. Merrick was chased. Tonelli got the draw to Morrow. Morrow shot it in high. Around it comes to the near boards. Lane there checked by Perot. Loose puck behind the net. Tonelli battles with Mike Ramsey in front. Merrick scores! Now we've seen that play before. John Tonelli passes from behind the net to Wayne Merrick, standing almost in the crease. Merrick jams the puck into the far side of the net, giving the Islanders a 2-0 lead. Wayne Merrick from John Tonelli. It's Dennis Buckman shooting it into the corner. Nice behind the net for Trottier. Trottier, oh, he scored! A whirl around, he hooked it, and it's 3-2 Islanders. Trottier's got the puck on the face-off. He's just running back in. He scores! It's a perfect goal. 4-2 Islanders. Buckman picks it up. Dennis sweeps the puck all the way down to the Buffalo zone for Henning. He's got a break. He's in front. He shoots. He scores! All right, Lorne Henning from Dennis Buckman. That should all but do it to the Buffalo Sabres. Fourth. Beat Merrick down to the Buffalo zone. He's in the corner, centering. Goes right to the shoots. The Sabres on board. He shoots. He scores! Power play goal number 2 for the New York Islanders. Good passing play, good speed. They dominated the game from the start. Keep in mind, empty net. Schoenfeld dragged into the boards by Nice in 24 seconds. Oh, and it was shot in. Goring put it in. Now, good scoring on a backhand from a relatively bad angle. And he's hurried, but he slaps the puck at the open net. It goes in the net. The Islanders get their 7th goal. The Islanders lead 7-4 with 22 seconds left to play here in the third period.
However, this series wasn't over yet. The Sabres bounced back and won games 4 and 5 to narrow the Islanders' lead to 3-2. Was this the ghost of playoffs past making a revisit? No, it wasn't, but it looked that way as Gilles Perreault scored a pair of goals early in the game and Buffalo led it 2-0. But the Islanders came back to score 5 straight unanswered goals and eliminated Buffalo with a 5-2 thrashing.
Wayne Sutter. Sutter with Mira. Sutter. Centering pass gone loose. It's carried on by Bourne. Bourne and Howard. Bourne in on goal. The shot. Saved by Soban. Rebound goalie. Penalty comes. The shot. Score! Bobby Lorimer. Bobby Lorimer has scored from foot scoring. And Bobby Moore. And we are now out of the tie situation. The penalty will be waved off as Howard is being assisted out by Ron Roski. But the Islanders have gone in front 3-2. Potvin behind the goal. Harrell back checking, but Potvin pulls his way out. The pass for Goring is slanted into the Buffalo zone. Van Boxmeer back. Gillies forechecking. Van Boxmeer stopped by Sutter. Gillies with a puck. Gillies stick handling to Sutter. Sutter trying to jam it in. The shot. Score. No. In. Wayne Sutter. Wayne Sutter has scored. It's 4-2. The light was slow to come on, but referee Van Halen signaled it. Wayne Sutter has made it 4-2. Rick Mark brings it up. The pass to Carroll at his own blue line. Carroll steal by Moore. There it is. Score. Bobby Moore. And this game is all over now with a minute on the clock. It's finals time. All right.
For the first time in Islander history, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals against the regular season champion Philadelphia Flyers. Up to this point in the playoffs, the Islanders had played every kind of hockey imaginable. Coach Al Arbour had said they had played Los Angeles, a team that was known for their scoring punch, and had won. They had played the Boston Bruins, known for their physical style, and the Islanders had won. Then they had met the Buffalo Sabres, a team that could skate with the best of them, and won again. The Islanders were tough. They could score, and they weren't too bad at the skating game either. But Philadelphia was coming off a sensational season. They were the overall point leader in the regular season. They had also posted an incredible 35-game undefeated streak. If the Islanders were to win the Cup, they would have to do it against the best. In the series opener, it was a seesaw game of hard skating, tough checking, and strong goaltending. Regulation play ended with the game tied at 3-all. Then, in overtime,
Down to 25 seconds now on the Islander power play in sudden death overtime, tied at 3-all. Early in this sudden death overtime, Islanders have the puck. Time for another rush. Goring starts up ice. Gives to Kenny Marno. Left side lead to Dennis at the red line. Veers to his right. Comes in over the blue line. At the right point. Puts on the brakes. Now sets up. Comes left side to Marno. He threw it in over the goal line to Bobby Nystrom. Nystrom bumped off the play by Bosniak. Trying to force a draw behind the net to Finelli in front. And Dennis. He's dead! Dennis Bobman scores the overtime goal. And the Islanders win it 4-3 in overtime.
the Flyers came back to win Game 2 and even the series at a game apiece. So now it was back home to the island for the next 2 games. In Game 3, the Islanders blew it open early. Lorne Henning started it with a shorthanded goal. Then 3 power play goals made it 4-0 after 1 period.
The Flyers come back out of the zone again. Leach has the puck at the red line. Shows it over on the left wing for Brian Propp. Knocked off his stick nicely by Bobby Bourne. Henning comes in with a drive. Lorne Henning! A short-handed goal! And the Islanders lead it 1-0. Dennis comes to the blue line, top of the spot, right down the middle. Shot, save, rebound, score! Dennis Buckman took the shot in the spot, got his own rebound, and knocked it in, and the Islanders lead it 2-0. Islanders control the draw. Dennis right point, top of the spot to Bossy. In front, the shot, right, Gillies the score! Beautiful goal! I think, deflected it in front of Gillies, and Gillies knocked it home. Dennis stick handling there, now looking for a way in, sends Gillies in on the left wing. Puck hopped over his stick, he dropped it for Bossy. Bossy right in front with a drive, score! Mike Bossy with a power play goal from the right of the slot, and the Islanders lead it 4-0.
The Islanders were sizzling on the power play. In the second period, they connected for 2 more to make it a 6-0 game.
Islanders leading at 4-0, going out to take the draw on the Flyer zone to the right mirror. Bobby Clark's there. He wins the draw from Goring in over the goal line to Barber. He goes behind the net for McElhargy. Bumped off the play by Bourne, but Barber grabs the puck out to the center ice. The pass comes from Clark, but Pearson knocked that down. Now Gillies comes back in with a drive. Score! Clark Gillies from the left point. Drive went right by Mears. Glove hand, and the Islanders lead it 5-0. Islanders have scored on their 4 previous power play chances, this being their 5th of the game. They also have a shorthanded goal scored by Lorne Henning, the first of the game. Sache out with Bossy as the forwards, Pearson and Dennis on the back line.